Last speaker for the SparkMe conference, which I hope we all agree has been awesome so far, is a very special one. It's our dear friend, Gaga Djermanovic. She's a PR maven, and probably the closest that any of us will ever get to Novak Djokovic. I'll let Milica introduce her in a bit more detail, but please give her a huge round of applause.
Yeah, dance. I don't think the next speaker needs any introduction to this audience at all, but since I'm wearing this shirt and I have this microphone, I'm sort of obliged to say a couple of words. She's a very renowned public relations expert in Europe. She owns her own PR consulting company, and I can pick several things out of her CV to characterize her, but probably one thing that probably earns her the most follow-up questions after talks like this one is the fact that she's the online strategist for Novak Djokovic. Today, she and her colleagues, Aleksandra Vukovic, will talk to us about the status of social media consulting business in this region. So I'm hoping that there will be a lot of follow-up questions to her presentations. And without any further ado, I would now give the floor to the ladies.
Thank you very much for having me here today, my dear friends. I have a few interesting topics to discuss with you. First of all, social media, social web business, social consulting, social change management issues, and success. Since all of mentioned topics are very important and ambitious, I think I need support from my assistant, Aleksandra Vukovic, and she will give you a short introduction about PR Pepper, and hopefully she will demonstrate my credibility to talk about so important topics such as success, social change, and change management. So, Aleksandra, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Gaga. Thank you for introduction. This is a short and simple story about business success in Serbia. Simple, but yet again, really odd and different from the practice we all know out there. My part of that story started 3 years ago.
Yes.
Actually, 2 years and 10 months and few days. I know exactly, but don't want to sound like psycho. I was a student, so nerdy about social media, and went to a panel discussion in which Natasha also took a part, and Dragana also. And I was so nerdy, and I had a lot of questions to ask and comments to add. So I was really active, and afterwards I received the praise. Now I know the praise that gave me confidence is because I was the only student out there, but then I thought I was smart. So I was really confident, and what people do these days when they feel confident, they usually share it online. So I took my phone and tweeted, when I grow up, I want to be like Gaga Djermanovic. And
it was 3 years ago. I remember
2 years,
that. I remember
10 days,
that too. Oh, really?
10 months and 2 days afterwards, I'm standing side by side, having this opportunity to talk about our company. A company which is a great part of my identity now. And I assure you, every person in our company has the same strange story about how he got in. And I intentionally said person, not employee, because that's how Gaga treats us. Somehow in Serbia, we managed to do our job successfully, and that is the strange part, because Serbia is a country in constant recession, ever-increasing scarcity, a country where you need the political connections to get and maintain job. And if you do, you're led by a stick and carrot leadership style and managed by fear. And somehow we're managed completely different. led by some other values. You've probably heard about Daniel Pink. He's an American author and speaker in a business management and motivational field. He wrote a book recently, Drive, about what truly motivates human behavior. And those are not extrinsic factors such as money, car, apartment. Those are completely different, spacey, if you ask me, values for Serbia. Those are intrinsic factors such as autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And I feel really lucky to find all of them in our company. The first one is autonomy. Autonomy is our natural inclination to explore the world and learn by ourselves. You can find it in our children, but before school age, because in school it's switched by authority. But it somehow remains in every human being, and we'll keep searching for it whether we're aware of it or not. Autonomy is a choice. You can choose whether or not, when, where, and how you're going to get the job done. And we have it all in PR Pepper, as long as we respect deadlines, of course. And above all, we have a power to change some decisions if we have valid arguments. A month ago, I received an email from Gaga in which she sent us 3 logos. You remember that?
Yeah, of course.
And the final decision was the first one. But she said...
It was my decision.
Yeah.
The first solution is
Final.
the best solution. Alexandra, what do you think?
Yeah. And she said, I'm here to listen, but the first one is final. And I really didn't like the first one. I liked it, but I felt that the second one is better. So I got my gut, wrote 3 arguments about what I feel about the second one. And few seconds later, I received an email in which she said, okay, that's right. You were right. The second one is going.
Arguments were great. So
Yeah.
that's the reason.
So we're not just talking about it, we're living autonomy. Yes. The second one is mastery.
Voila.
Thank you. Mastery is our urge to get better and better in doing what we're doing. From day to day, our brains are challenged to attack same problems on a different way, because we have a whole variety of clients, from tennis NO1 Novak Djokovic to great companies like Delta Holding, insurance, and banks.
Yes.
And we have a really crazy tech lab. If they can't find the solution online, they make it up in a day.
Yes.
The third one, and most important and most difficult to have, is having purpose. Purpose is when you have a strong feeling that you're doing something that is greater than yourself. Nowadays, we're having this opportunity to work on a project that is really larger than ourselves. It's a buzz shaper. Plan is to use technology to help people have life easier. Visit buzzshaper.com. You can subscribe to get much more information really soon. So at the end, I was really short, but at the end of my talk, I want you to remember 2 things. The first one is maybe the most important: be careful what you tweet. And the second one is, if you're an employer and you want to do business successfully in 21st century, get upgrade to those values. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandra, and thank to all of you. I would like to thank to all of you because it's very important for me to share the stage with my assistant, with Alexandra, and all other team members from PR Pepper, because we did so many great things, and experience I have and cases I have in my head and good ideas I could share with you. They're all thanks to great people behind the scene in front of the PR Pepper agency and all our clients. So to get back to our today's story, I think you must have more than a great reason to stay here, because it's a beautiful day outside, so I will try to give you a few reasons to be with me and to discuss a few interesting topics, such as, first of all, I would like to talk with you and to discuss with you one question: why is social media consulting business in our region full of shit, but not just in our region? Second one would be, what happened to the great evangelists we all admired and learned from? And at the end, of course, the most important part would be, what could you do to grow your business? What could you do to grow yourself? I will tell you so many things in just few words, because I would really like to share what I have done so far, because I've done some interesting things, and somehow I really move the mountains in front of me, and I'm doing that the very every day of my life, and that's why I think we have to talk about the real situation in the business, and of course about our idols and people we admire, and about change and development, and at the end about the success. So we will start with this guy, this great man, Og Mandino, the author of the book, The Greatest Salesman in the World, will guide me throughout the presentation. So you can find a few interesting quotes inside of my work. And of course, my strong recommendation would be to read this book. Book was written, I don't know, 60, 70 years ago, and it's really great. Okay, we will start with first part of the presentation. So why is social media consulting business full of shit in this region? Sorry for my bad words, but I think this is the case, and it's a pity, because social media industry is huge and it should be full of energy and creativity, and it's not. I will try to explain that by using this great metaphor Professor Gustav Freytag created in 19th century. It's the dramatic structure, and dramatic structure explains how the drama piece, drama narrative evolves throughout 5 stages and interesting tipping points. I think we can use it for business projects. We can use it as example of our personal life cycle. So look at few interesting things here, please. At first stage of any drama, any dramatic structure, no matter if we speak about Shakespearean drama or ancient Greek drama, we have exposition phase. So the exposition phase would be introduction. So who I am, what's going on, time and place, and every other important technical detail about the drama. And after that, we have the rising action. The rising action is a series of related incidents built over the point of great interest. And these events are generally the most important parts of the story, since the entire plot depends on them to set up the climax and ultimately the satisfactory resolution of the story itself. So in this rising action of any drama piece are the most important parts of the story. And after that, of course, we have climax. Climax is the turning point which marks a change for the better or the worse. So in climax phase, you will know what will happen up to the end of the story. After the climax, we have falling action stage. And during this phase of drama, the conflict between the protagonist and the antagonist unreveals, with protagonist winning or losing against the antagonist. So this falling action would be important part of the story, since everything will be said and done. So at the end we have resolution, which comprise events from the end of the falling action to the actual ending scene. I think the dramatic structure could be very well used to explain not just dramatic structure and drama piece, but also business projects, startups, for example, and of course our personal life cycle. And this model helped me a lot during my professional career to find my place and to make and mark some changes in my life in order to continue with rising actions and climax in my life. Since I think it's not good enough for me to reach the top once in a while or once in my professional career. And if you know and if you can predict what would be the phases in your project, business, or your personal life cycle, maybe you can change something for the better. And this one big lie that we can completely separate our personal and professional life, it's not very useful, and since it's lie, please try to avoid it, because I think that whatever we do and whichever role we play, that defines our professional attitude, it predefines our business and every other decision. So please count on that if you are a great mother, you will definitely be a great consultant. If you are good with people, you will be a good manager or a great boss. So you have to be whole and you have to be great in every field of your life, because everything will affect every other role you have. And in my personal experience, dramatic structure was like this. I would like to share it with you, because you can see some patterns and interesting things, and hopefully it can help you become even better person or professional. So, life is drama, comedy, or tragedy, depended on me. At first stage of my professional career, in that exposition phase 12, 13 years ago, I was journalist and university student. I was hard worker, like I am now. I wanted to move the mountains and everything else, and that brought me to great rising action phase of my life when I became trainee at Vojvođanska banka. It was second largest bank in Serbia. And after that, and thanks to that phase, I became the youngest manager in one bank in my country with 24. And it was really great period of my life. Everything was perfect, with great salary, with great overall working conditions, with great budget for PR activities, and everything seemed more than perfect. But somewhere deep inside, I felt that it's kind of falling action. I didn't know this concept of dramatic structure. I didn't know what it is and all these phases and whatever. But I felt that something's wrong, that something could be even better than it is. It was a huge deal for me. And after that, I realized that I have to change something. For example, my job and everything else. And then I started blogging and lecturing, and I started small freelancing, consulting business, and it was hard, but I felt much better. And that's important thing, to listen to yourself. You can feel whatever is right or wrong, but we're not listening to ourselves. We are listening and reading so many people, so many sources, but forget to listen to ourselves. That moment helped me to create not falling action phase of my life, but to create new rising action. And now I'm in, I can say, in second climax phase of my professional career. And now I'm creator, I'm the founder, and so many other things. And I feel I feel much better than I felt 6 years ago at my first climax of my professional career. And that climax phase of our life and our professional path is the sweetest lullaby. And why is that? Because everything is okay. You don't know, why would you change if everything is perfect? Well, that's big problem, because if you live a great life today, if everything is perfect at the moment, be sure that it's not because of the things you're doing now. It's because of all the things you have done years before. So if you have a great life now, ask yourself, what are you doing to have a great life in a year or two? You have to think like that. And if you live a great and perfect life today, it won't be your future. You have to work hard to ensure better life and more climax phases and more success in years to come. Or, as Ogmandino put it, what you plant now, you will for sure harvest later. And what helps you sleep during the climax phase? So many things, but I will point out information cascade and some change management issues. Information cascade is also one very useful model, and it explains how you can do one thing, cognitive thing. You can sell one solution, you can sell one product, one idea, concept, or strategy once, maybe twice. But when you try to do it 3 times or 4 times, everything could fall apart. So it's very important in creative business to understand that you can do things the same way just once and maybe twice, and that's it. Change and rethink your strategies, your idea, and everything else. You cannot do the same thing more than twice and to expect great results. On third cascade, everything could fall apart, and believe me, I tried so many times. After that, change management issues, so many change management issues always, but the most important one is you don't have to change because you're not good or you're not perfect. Maybe you are, but that's not the point. The point is that market is different, clients are different, everything is different from day to day, and you have to change and you have to grow, because no man ever steps in the same river twice. It's not the same river and he's not the same man. So maybe you are really good consultant and maybe you have really good ideas, but are they good today? Will they be good tomorrow? So that's why you cannot sleep in this climax phase. And I have one example of our social media industry that will maybe give us an answer why is this creative and new industry not so cool in my professional opinion. You know my attitude about social web. I think social web is the most important gift we have, the most important thing for public dialogue, for democracy, for interaction. And we have to use social web to make things better. And that's the right promise of the internet. So we have an agency that will offer to brand or client background, numbers, Facebook apps, and that kind of shit. That's not the promise of the internet. That's not a good thing. It will not change the industry. It will not change the brand and products. So why are we always offering the worst solution, and why are we so afraid to change something and to lead company not to follow it? I think there is so many answers, but I will explain you how it looks like. 4 models of social media consulting packages at this moment. I found out this 4, and first and the worst would be to offer to the company full outsource. Well, one creative industry should not do this kind of stuff because it's not cool. It's not okay because community and people outside on the internet, social web users, they want to talk directly to you as a brand. They don't want to talk with middlemen. They don't want to talk to community managers. They don't want to talk to me or anybody else. They want to hear what you have to say to them. They want to interact with you. So if you offer a social media agency as, I don't know, from your point of view, one creative and cool consultant and representative of a new and refreshing industry, if you use this outsource model and offer full outsource model to the brand, it will not result with overall social and business change. But what you have, external consultants know the job. They know the people. They know how to do cool stuff on the internet. They can start faster, but the problem is there's so many wannabe experts out there, and you as company, you cannot know who are really cool persons on the social web, at social web industry at the moment. You cannot know that. And of course, how will you track the quality of that strategy and interaction, because you don't know the social web as brand. And of course, outsourced solutions are not authentic, and that's the biggest problem. Okay, you can find this solution also. It's so-called jump-in model, where Pera from IT sector, he's a cool guy and he has, I don't know, so many followers and friends, and he could lead community management team inside the company. It's not cool solution either, because he might know the company and he could be valuable representative to the community, but from which department is he trained? And of course, who will create guidelines, policies, strategy, and other needed documents? Third solution for companies entering the social web arena is to hire community management pros or freelancers. This is very, very often in our region, because we have so many freelancers and so many great people and experts. So this solution is not so bad. It's better than that full outsource model, because okay, also community management pros, they know social media job and also social media industry. They're more likely to stay. We have so many examples of freelancers that started working with the company, and that's also the cool stuff. But they also do not know you as brand. They could not be authentic, at least in month or 2 or 6 months. And of course, to whom will they report? And don't forget another thing. Community managers, great freelancers we have outside, they're really interesting guys, and they can offer so many things, but they cannot create roof strategy. They cannot handle crisis situation. They cannot handle so many issues and challenges out there. So think twice. And then, fourth solution, idea, I think we should sell much more and much often. My friend Darko Buldiovski explained me last night that his great team from Macedonia is selling this stuff, and that they have great results, and I'm happy for them, because this is the hardest and this is the only right way of entering in social web arena. It's balanced model with social media pros outside who will create roof strategy, principles, guidelines, funnel education for people inside of the company who could measurement, evaluate, innovate on monthly basis, on weekly basis, and sometimes on daily basis. And of course, community management and team inside the company that will learn and co-create with mentors outside of the company, and they could be, they can train in one controlled process of learning by doing, and you can leave that company as a social media agency. You can leave them to themselves and to community, because they will learn how to understand and how to address all the issues people will bring in front of them on every social media channel. And that's important, because you will grow as a social media agency. It's not okay to be a parasite, to be here all the time, to make a position of old school PR and marketing agencies and models. You have to grow with your brand, and you have to go to another client. So what would be the answer on that question, what's wrong with my industry? I don't know why we're not selling this stuff. Maybe it's expensive. Maybe we don't want to share our know-how. Maybe that's because we don't know. I don't know what's the problem. But I know that companies are suffering because of that. And I know that community also suffers because of that, because they have to share value. We cannot do that instead of the company. Company have to go companies has to go companies have to go in this arena, and they have to speak in front of the people directly. So I think we have to change our mindset. I think we are in this falling action phase, almost every agency in this region, and I think we cannot see the future, and we cannot change ourselves, and that's the reason why we don't make change in social media business at all. And now just a few tips about second very important topic I had in mind, and that's what happened with great evangelists we all admired and learned from. Because there's so many great people that inspired all of us for years, for so many years. And now I can feel lack of energy. I can feel lack of creativity. And I don't know what's the problem, but I created one cool checklist that I would like to suggest to you to use from time to time to reassess your own idols, because it can help you, because their rising action is not your, and their falling action shouldn't be your. You have to grow, and you have to go. You have to reassess your idols. So what can you do to check if they are really good enough for you to be your mentors and to be your idols? For start, if they talk a lot, or if they talk too much, meaning if they have time to post more than 20 posts on social networks, something must be wrong, or they are incredibly talented. So pay attention on that. And also, if they give advices they do not follow, you can check that also easily by asking them about their personal experience about the subject. And after that, if they don't grow, if they just recycle ideas, recycle surveys, recycle posts, and recycle themselves, something must be wrong. I'm a smart girl. I created something new, something that will change the industry. When was the last time you heard that from your idols? Please reassess them from time to time, because their falling action shouldn't be your falling action. Reassess them, because you have to grow. You have to grow to the next level and to the next climax of your life. And just a few more interesting things regarding how can you help yourself to grow and to grow your business. This was Dragana Djermanovic 6 years ago in my first climax phase. I think I was successful. Everything was great, but I think I was not happy. This is me a few months ago, and it's not just about the success, it's about happiness. You have to be happy with what you do. You have to change things because it's the only thing you can do with your life. You have to think about your future, and you have to think about what are you doing now to have a good life, to have a good team, to have great products in the future. And you sometimes need to test. You sometimes need to ask. You always need to think and to provoke in order to create better business and in order to create better life for you and all around you. And at the end, just a few more tips for the brain. Take the attitude of a student. Never be too big to ask questions, and never know too much to learn something new. Your only limitations are those you set up in your mind or permit others to set up for you. I determine to render more and better service each day than I'm being paid to render. Those that reach the top are the ones who are not satisfied with doing only what is required of them. And success will not wait. If I delay, success will become wed to another and lost to me forever. This is the time. This is the place. You are the person. And now is really all we have. So think twice and work hard. I think you can have as many climax you want, as many climax you need. But that has to be your decision. Thank you very much. Znate, ja nisam išla u školu, pa je taj moj engleski takav. Mislim, Vukašine si u prvom redu, da me kritikuješ. On me stalno kritikuje i... Jeste. Mislim, ovo je moj mambo jumbo neškolovani engleski, pa hvala još jednom na ovolikom aplauzu, nisam ga zaslužila.
Thank you very much for the presentation. You may take a seat. I'm sure there are people itching to ask questions, so I'm going to hold off to mine for a bit. Come on, there's got to be a social media consultant in the group who Gaga just called bullshit. Come on, go.
Hello, it's a question for Gaga. A few days ago, you blogged that you feel like changing, that you are changing,
Yes.
just like you said before, and that you feel your blog should change. So I'm eager to hear how it's going to change.
Well, my blog is my church. That's the most important place I have in web. Maybe the most important place I have in my life. And I love that place because I'm a better person whenever I post new blog post. But the thing is that I'm not the same like I was a year ago or 2 years ago, and I cannot write posts about PR and some crappy ideas and I don't know. It's not for me anymore. I'm thinking about management, about business issues, about the economy, about project management issues, time management issues, about strategy in general, and that should be topics on my blog. I have to change maybe the name and everything. I will pay close attention to that, and I will do whatever I can to deliver even better place for all the people that visited my blog. And thank you for asking me that question. I will do my best to make it even better.
Thanks, Ithana. Anyone else? Let me jump in with a question. Who are some of those idols and evangelists who you have looked up to who have since fallen out of grace, and why do you think that has happened?
I knew you will ask that question. Since they are not in the room, I prepared an answer.
Please turn off the camera for just 2 minutes.
Because they are not in the room, I will not mention them. I also would like to give them a chance to change. I don't think it's pretty cool to give bad words to persons that are not here and from which I have learned so many things in my life. So I really hope that they will catch up some things from my lecture today, and I will talk to them directly, and I really hope that they will change something because I really love them and I've learned so many things from them. So this could be a message to all of us and to me and to myself, because we have to change. If we are okay now, if we are good now, that's not good enough. And that's my advice to all of you. Just think about your idols and reassess everything they gave to you and change them. It's not a big deal. It's important thing. Why? Because your growth is the most important thing. And we have to catch up with that.
So, in short, for people who are tweeting, how would you sum up why is the social media consulting business in a region shit?
Because we just recycle ideas from our colleagues in Western Europe and USA. We do not, in general, please, there are few very positive examples. I gave you one, Darko Buldioski. Darko, could you please say a few words about great product you have and great campaign you have done for your client in Macedonia? I think it's fair and I would really like to ask Darko to explain. He's a great example, but in general, I think we are just recyclers, and that we don't create, and that we follow the business, and that's not cool, because social web is very important industry, and we should be in front of the business. That's natural, and we are not. Why is that? There's so many answers. Darko, please.
Well, it's not actually a campaign, it's a process. We became the first, I think, in the region company that was awarded by Social Bakers as a socially devoted company. They followed one of our clients' Facebook page, and according to their numbers and their statistics, they awarded us as a socially devoted company. But the story behind it is that we as an agency would have not been able to do that if the team in the company, our client, was not ready to change. We worked for almost 1 year to change several processes in their business, in their internal communication structure, in their positions, who gives order to whom, how we communicate with them, to be able to fulfill the goals and to be able to answer to 50% of all the questions in less than 10 minutes. We're talking about Facebook and Twitter, and it's a telecom industry. So
telecom industry and social devoted company. Applause from me.
Thank you.
It's a great deal. So we have few great examples in the industry, but I think we have to talk about those colleagues that do not understand how great is social web and responsibility of this industry at this point of its development.
In this conference, we heard a lot of people talking about the future, and PR proper has changed substantially. 10 years ago, you had clients and accounts that you were managing, sort of like jump-in model that you were discussing. How do you see the industry 10 years from now?
I cannot see 10 years from now. I can tell you that everything is different, not just in public relation industry, it's different in media industry, it's different in marketing, it's different in sport industry, and every other industry. And the main question would be what we want from our business, not how to change and how to adopt. We have to answer on a few very basic questions, such as what I represent as a brand, what I want from my clients, what I want from my customers, what I want from my product, and what shall I do to become even better company. And if you think like that, then it's not really important, are you using social web? How do you use PR or marketing? The most important thing is to make things better. Inside the company, as Darko mentioned, inside your core business, and then everything will be okay. Public relations, marketing, social web, and everything else. So what do you want from your brand? That's the main question.
And another topic related to the whole future characteristic was talking about online communities. And a lot of the work I imagine that you do today, and that's likely to continue in the future, is building and maintaining those communities, whether you're a private sector company or a dean at the university or a minister, right?
Yes.
So philosophically, do you believe that 10 years from now, every outfit, no matter how small or big it is, should have this capacity within itself? Or there should be somebody from outside jumping in or being outsourced or be a part of the mixed approach to this business?
I think that every brand should lead its own social web presence, since it's a very intimate thing. It's a private thing somehow. And you have to know your community, and you have to develop your strategy accordingly. It's okay to have support outside, but it's not necessarily either. I think you have to understand as a brand that things are different and that your best friends are outside. And if they, as part of the community, have problems with you, you have to solve it. If they want to talk directly to you, you have to do that. And okay, help is good, help is very cool. And we have so many people that can help to the brands for free. Me, for example, Pečkov Pivo, for example, and so many great guys in the audience. But brands should understand that this is social arena. They have to become more social, and that's the point. Social web just helped us to have more social brands and brands that are connected to the people, and that's the right promise of the internet era.
Thank you. I'm monopolizing the discussion. Any questions from the audience?
Any question?
I'll jump in with another one, so I'll keep talking unless somebody comes up with a question. So one of the big trends, there was this big discussion around Future 2020, Future Agenda in PR is user innovation. So in Britain, about 6% of users innovate on products that they buy. To what extent do you see that happening in our region? Businesses and brands using marketing and social media to allow their users to innovate on processes and products that is the core of their business?
Synergy as the key word. We have lack of synergy between brands, companies, media, and community at the other side. Why is that? I think we are not opened enough to receive new ideas, suggestions, and it's not good because we don't have better products because of social web. And that's the problem. We don't have better companies, better ideas, better, I don't know, future with social web because we are still so closed and we are autistic somehow, and I think it's because we don't want to change. It's very cozy. We are at one side as brand and company, and at the other side community. We can do this and we don't need to see them outside, but that will change because there's so many people outside that that really want to talk to the brands directly, and they will win. They will win this game because these tools, all of these tools are here because of the people, and brands will obey. It must happen. In future, I think in near future in our region, in year or two from now.
Thank you. Okay, two. First row, then third row. Can we have a microphone, please? First row first, then the third.
I don't have a microphone
Thank you.
anymore.
Oh, my name is Marco. We didn't have many women as panelists here talking about the business, so my question to you would be, what are the main obstacles to women trying to do the business in Serbia and Montenegro, maybe?
Thank you. Well, I don't think we have obstacles, and I don't think we have unequal situation. I really don't think so. I think that ICT sector in general is very democratic, and our colleagues from ICT sector are really great, and I really feel welcome in this field. And it's not easy to be mother and wife and consultant and everything else. But, well, you know what? It's not just to have easy life. I think we need to have beautiful life, and sometimes it's difficult, whether you are in ICT or any other industry. So I think we have great position as ladies in ICT sector, my personal opinion.
Professor, we have one question behind you and then on to you.
Hi.
Hello, my man.
Hello. We know each other for a long time, so many years, and I'm really astonished by your career path and what you do. Not just you, but all the people in your company, Alexandra, for example. And you was talking about the changes, your personal changes and the business changes, and your blog with all of that. Can you tell me where you see yourself? Where can you see yourself in about, I don't know, 5 years from now?
Thank you, Branko. Maybe on Cuba or Indonesia. Sorry. Well, I think my colleagues from my team and my partners will lead my company in future. I really hope they will do that, and I believe in them very much. I think I will lead some projects, some new innovations, because it's important for me, for my that brain inside. I cannot switch it off, but sometimes it could be very useful. And I think I will try to write some white papers, maybe books or that kind of stuff, to spread the word about whatever I have done and achieved in my life in these 2 years I have now. And I hope that I could change at least one person at a time, and I think that will make this world better, and that could be my small little mission. And then I could really become a mountain, like I said at the beginning of the presentation. Thank you, Branko.
Thank you. Professor?
I really enjoyed your presentation. It was something. You can see I am following this issue in general for so long time, and usually I'm taking the youngsters' position. I believe in changes. So, but the point is that maybe you will comment about the obstacle, the real obstacle or hurdle is the human being nature. You mentioned
Always.
Yeah, but here it's so difficult. So maybe you have some ideas how really, because we have it all over, not just in the PR or whatever. I just want to end with some extreme example that I saw along your presentation. Take, for example, Bill Gates,
Yes.
the richest guy all over the world. He established Microsoft many years ago. It's one of the more influential company ever. And I really think maybe he's not the guy to consult with if you want to have a startup today. So it's kind of shocking to think about, but this is about those idols. I'm not saying that he is not, but maybe he is not. So can you comment about it?
Well, thank you. My opinion is that we have so many to offer, and that every one of us, we are using just 3-4% of our brain, and that's terrible pity. So that's why I speak like this in front of the people, because I know that every person in this room could be Bill Gates or anyone else, and that's our decision. I just wanted to point it out that that's our decision. We will choose if our life will be constant falling action or climax one at a time, and one and new and, I don't know, rising action again and that kind of stuff. And that should be our decision. We have the potential to change the world, to change every part of our life and people around us. And I think we don't use it. And that's not a problem of our society or our government or politics or whatever. It's our personal problem. We do not choose to grow, and that's our decision. That's my strong opinion.
Last question from the audience. Big hand. I do not see the
This
person.
is big hand. I'm not big enough.
All right. So, but we need to make it snappy because I have one question for the end.
I'll be very
and
fast.
I was allowed one more from the audience. So let's.
I'll be
Go.
very fast. Sorry.
Yeah.
I have a question for Zoka.
Oh.
It's because when I saw you a few years ago, you were just a student in the audience asking questions. What would be your recommendation for the students here? Because now you are already a successful woman. What would you say to them?
Those are strong words. Thank you, Natasha.
You are.
I'm on my path. Advice is, just as Gaga said, you have to choose. You have to choose your path, and you have to follow it. You have to know it every day, things that you will do to get closer to it. So every time you get a call to a drink, consider your time as a resource and consider if you can choose it to spend it wiser. That's it.
We have one question in the back. Is that still valid? Yes? Okay. Microphone. Sorry, and this is the last one.
I've been in advertising and marketing for much longer than you've been alive. And one of the most depressing things about your business and my business is that it's Orwellian, dysfunctional, and schizophrenic, because rarely do you have a chance to actually choose the clients you want to work with based on your own life values. So an insurance company, a cigarette company, a food company, I'd like to know where the bravery is. There's no bravery in marketing and advertising. We all sell the shit that you talk about, and we do it creatively, we do it kindly, we do it as persuasively as possible. And the challenge, especially we have so much social media, which can be either a destructive or a positive force, is that it's a brilliant way for bad companies to convince people in an Orwellian way that they're really caring, kind folks. Like Philip Morris, we kill you gently with cigarettes, but boy, do we sponsor such wonderful nonprofit social action organizations. And finally, the last thing, I completely disagree with Dr. Oprah. There is no more magnificent example of a human being than Bill Gates, who the instant he became a success, told the world, which didn't believe him, that I will leave this business and spend my entire fortune helping mankind. And he has done that. He has done that. And Steve Jobs didn't do that. Most of the companies you work for spend far less of their net profit sponsoring nonprofit, social, worthy activities. He's doing it, he's living it. So I like what you said, but I don't see the bravery. I see it being extremely easy, lots of fun, and money.
Could I maybe, before you answer, because my question builds nicely on this. Yeah? So I'm just going to add and respect the fact that this was the last question. One of the drivers that Alexandra mentioned from the beginning is purpose. And we are here today because one company in Montenegro decided that to be successful means more than the bottom line, means bringing back and giving back to the community, in this case in Montenegro. So you mentioned that you're working on a project that's more than the sum of its part, Buzz Shaper. Yes. So maybe on the foothills of this question, if you could give us a couple of words about what the project is about.
Thank you. I have to disagree with you because it's your choice to work or don't work with some clients or brands. It's only and just your decision as the agency. I made so many decisions in my life regarding my clients, and I made some very, very tough decisions. And now I have just clients in which I believe and share their values somehow. Not somehow, but truly. I'm not making a good package out of the shit. I co-create new values with clients, and that was my decision. I think you can choose as consultant, freelancer, or agency. You can choose. Would you like to sell Philip Morris cigarettes or whatever with good and nice words, or you can work with clients that really can inspire others. So that's completely on you. And regarding your question, out of our business, we saw a problem, we saw one gap that we could fill somehow globally, and I cannot tell you more because I'm a nerd and I need to have everything in my head, and it's not the moment. But I would really like to ask you for attention, for I don't know, support in months to come in order to promote it. But thank you for asking.
But the name Buzz Shaper,
Buzz Shaper,
as a corporate responsibility community, I would imagine, project.
No, the service. We created service for brands and companies and agencies, public figures at one side, and the whole community and advocates at the other side. And it sounds simple, but it's pretty much deep, and I cannot explain it in one sentence.
Thank you very much. Big hand of applause for our last presenters today.